Welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on the SortTables data viewer, and we're kind of coming to the end of the stuff I wanted to do for right now, which is fix this big screen that configures the database for a big query. And we'd like to do one more thing there for sure, which is warn before you click Run Query if you haven't saved anything. So just like a document that you're editing, if you just quit and you lose the document, you're not so happy. So we want to fix the same thing with our Run Query. All right, I believe we left off with a problem. I don't remember if it was actively failing or if it just didn't work the way we wanted it to, but let's see. I did put the strings in here and clean them up a little. And we changed that together, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so we have an alert. Now I did confirm that alerts can't show alerts, so we have to make ourselves happy with this. But we can make them buttons. Okay, at least the test pass. Even if the behavior's not 100% right. I guess it's not necessarily wrong, it's just not doing anything. I guess that's wrong. Okay, so we must include at least one column. Let's take the person table. I can save now because I've changed something, and we'll save, I'll just call it Q 01, 2, 3, and we'll, dot query, we'll save that. Okay, now if I run query, I've just saved. Well, see, that's the kind of thing that's too fast. Right, so up here, if the version hasn't changed since we last saved, then we just open it and dismiss. And otherwise, well, why am I saying text here? Okay, this is the button, run query. If the query version is not, now alert is show version changed. Nobody sets that, do they? Well, the save to database should set it. Or should it clear it? Not quite sure. I guess if you've saved, that's in the save dialog. Right. Show version changed. Okay, the version changed if query version is different than, so the current version is more recent than, wait a minute. Query version, I don't think that's the best name for this. It's really like the last saved query version. See if I can make this make better sense. Okay, if the last saved version is not equal to the current version, basically, then we set version changed. And if the version hasn't changed, then we just go about our business. But if it has changed, we're gonna show this alert. Okay. And the action is just, it's really this. Okay, yeah, I think that's Okay, let me set up the alternate situation. I get there. Alert run anyway should set and ignore changes flags. Yeah, I don't like setting flags back and forth, but I don't think he needs to set. I don't think he needs to set a flag. I think he just needs to respect. If the version is changed, he should pop up an alert. So let's make a change. And run query should say, oh, things have changed since the last save because they're not 0. And let me do something. Okay, so that's the kind of thing we want. The query has changed since you last saved. Do you want to run it without saving? Run without saving or cancel? Okay, and that's this. But I think this should be a button. Title key and action. So button with an action. And cancel is okay. It's going to close the window and not do anything. All right, but I think the thing is, if you want to save it, you need to tell this, do this. What's the problem? Oh. Okay, I guess I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. So Swift UI, alert buttons. Now I saw hacking with Swift. Is this it? Okay, they want text. Oh, it can, even with text, it can take an action. Okay, even with text, it can take an action. Is it on the destructive? Yes. Okay. So here, this seems true. I'm not so sure about the dismiss. This says you should, when we exit this, you should open. And I guess we'll put the dismiss if it'll let us. Okay. Save is what you do after selecting cancel. Run anyway should just run the query. Yes. So I think this should do that. This should close the window. And the cancel says don't do anything. You have the opportunity to do a save. Okay, so that gives you a chance. I could pop up the window for save, but I think I'm going to leave it like this. It would be nicer, but I think I'm happier like this. All right, so let's try this. All right, so open the query, make a change. Okay, we got person. I have not saved. I run the query, and cancel should do nothing. If I save, well, if I do it again, it should offer me the same message. I'll take a run without saving. And we do. Okay, the button says run query or, yeah. And I think normally when you exit a document, right, you have choices that are more like cancel or do it anyway. All right, now let's take that third case because I think we're good. We'll change something. We'll save it. Q0122.query. Overwrite and save. And now this should just run and be fine. Boop. Okay. Yeah, I think we're there. I guess that did not take too long. All right. Now, I think I can maybe change some logic or somehow make it better. Okay, so I don't think show version changed. I think this is really like changed without saving. Okay, so the condition for this. Now, can I flip the condition? Saved last change. Let's try that. Saved last change. Okay. And now I'm going to flip it equals. And then if they did save it, then we can just open it. Okay. Now, this, is that going to be, it's really the opposite. I don't know if I can, how do I do that? Like this? Does that work? No. No, I guess I can't make that change. Okay. So, last change unsaved. Whoops. Last change, if not last change unsaved, that really sounds backwards. Yeah, I think I'm okay letting them save to another thing, but we could. All right, let's see this wording. Last change unsaved. I don't like not last change unsaved. How about needs saving? Okay, if the version has, the current version is not the same as the last saved version, I'm going to flip those two. This is just a matter of my making it more clear to myself. Okay. It needs saving if the current, basically the current version is not the same as the last saved version. If it doesn't need saving, then just open it. Okay, I think that sounds okay. Now, do I need to? I've got a little duplication. I guess I'm not sure how much I'm bothered. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I think I'll leave that. It's conceivable to me if this changed that this could change, so I don't know. All right. I think we'll call that done. What do we say? Oh, I should be doing this. Oh, how to add actions to alert buttons. I did save something. We figured it out. Make query prompt to save altered query. Okay. I think that's true. Set a long name. Warn before run query without save. All right. Now what? How do we reset database selection? Gosh, I want to put that off. You know, we haven't seen this performance problem in a few days. I don't know if it's a real thing or if it was just some sort of startup cost or some bizarre thing. Yeah, it's not big duplication, and I think it's a little bit accidental that they're the same because one's closing the I don't know what that is. Is it a sheet? Well, it's closing the view on the stack. And it's kind of reaching out to somebody else to kind of let them know. Yeah, it's kind of a state thing, I guess. Should open. Yeah, so I think, from that query, it has to pass back. Do you need to open it or just let it go? And then this dismiss. But I think that's just because it's still nested in the view and on top of the alert. I think they don't necessarily have to be the same. It just works out with this choice. So, yeah. All right. Reset database selection. I don't know why I'm resisting this. Ugh. All right. I think the deal is, yeah, we had no changes about that. I'll delete that for now. So I think our concern is justifiably, because I don't think we've ever really addressed it, but if you open a query and then open something else, like, did we reset everything properly? So here we did the registration one. Let's create a query. I'm just going to cancel, create a query. Now, cancel should leave everything like it was. So I think that still seems okay. Here's my person query. He's okay. That's true. Yep. Run without saving. And okay. He's got the person in the ID. That seems good to me. Let's take a peek. Maybe trace it through just so we know we've done things right. I think there's something funny that it's kind of how things are being passed between UIKit and Swift UI. I think it was table something controller. There it is. I think. Okay, so we create the bridge, and then let's open that. That has the database. Now the selection gets changed. Well, okay, yeah, I guess that gets changed when they change it, right? They do a new database, we change the selection. This is a new one because when I open the query, it starts back over with fresh data. Okay, so I think that's okay. Do we need to clear the reference table or is that initialized? Reference table. I think I would say everything is being initialized because we do new database selection and he starts out with everything empty. So it's the act of switching databases, whether you come in for the first time with one or, well, if I select person and then select a different database, I don't remember which one was active or not. Okay, but yeah, that had similar tables, but it resets them. So I think that's okay. I mean, we didn't set out to really do that. There was a time when I think it didn't work, but I think the stuff we did with database selection in this crossover point, this is constant. Sorry, table controller yeah, its table controller is constant. The bridge, as far as I know, is constant. Let's go here and find usages. Okay, database selection bridge, database view. He knows it. I think that's in the preview, yeah. And then this creates it. Okay. Yeah, so this is the only place that creates it. So if there's a new table controller, it will create a new database selection bridge. But once you've got the database selection bridge, the database selection inside it is really created fresh every time. So I think that's good. Yeah, everything's in structs. That's at least helpful, except the bridge. Right, that's that observable object, so we can tie it back into the UI kit. There may be a way without it, but I didn't quite get it. All right, let's see. I guess what we did was we checked that database selection is recreated as needed. Okay. Now this one, this is a bigger thing. I mean, it's not a big problem, but I think query column came together more easily than table selection did for us. And I think we're maintaining duplicate information. What we had to do before was do some extra sorting to make sure things that got pulled out were sorted if they wanted them sorted. But I think we're okay. So let's close these, and we'll open up table selection. Actually, we'll need database selection too. This one and query column. It wouldn't hurt us to think about if these names are as good as they could be too. Okay, so in query column, so query column itself is a plain old struct, but it does let you rename. So it's able to have variables in a mutating function. All right, now when we go back to table selection, the only columns it keeps track of is the map from original table or original column name to the query column object. Okay. And that is fine. It's populated here. Now this, we might not need to keep metadata around. That might be worth doing. Let's make a question there. I think you could just save that list of tables and we'd be okay rather than holding the whole metadata object. I don't think we do anything else with metadata. Yeah, okay. All right, so it maintains string to column. Now, if we go back to database selection, we maintain two things to hold the database stuff together. Now, I don't know if this is helping table reference to table selection. It's really the ID. Oh, maybe that makes the difference. This thing has all the table selections in it. This thing has all the table selections in it. So that feels like we're maintaining the same information twice. Now, this, well, yeah, it does, because we could always say table selections is tableReferenceMap dot values. So I know it's duplicated in some sense. Now, whether it makes sense or any of that. Okay, there's table selections. Excuse me. Let's see who references this. Lots of people. Okay. And maybe they're all, well, a lot of them are tests. Let's take one. Yeah. Okay. How about real code? Here's a view. It runs through the table selections. Yeah, fair enough. Dollar database selections, so it can delete them. What does delete do? Does delete table. Let's make sure, does delete table. Oh, interesting. Okay. I think we found a gap here. The renamed tables are needed in query creation. Yes. Tables are copied. The columns are just renamed. Yeah, there's something weird there, isn't there? All right, but I also see something weird in delete, right? So where did that delete table go? Delete table. Okay, that's kind of triggering an error state. You got the table ID. The joins, we got rid of the joins that did it. We got rid of the table selections. But notice we got another piece of data here that we didn't keep synchronized, the table reference map. So maybe, let's see, why would that make a difference? We walk through table selections. I mean, I can rework table selections. Oh no, I can't. I was going to say I could rework it to make it a variable, but we're actually deleting them if we need to. That seems fine, but the map is not updated. Test, database selection. Oh, that's itself. Everything else is tests. Okay. But this one really does want to delete those table selections. So he says delete table. Okay. Yeah. So I think I've got a gap. I don't know that it's a bug. We don't know if it manifests anywhere, but when you delete tables, we're leaving them in the table reference map. So if somebody looked up a deleted table, they would get the old table, and that does seem wrong. I don't know if we can trigger a bug. Okay, so well, he runs through table selections. Okay, I guess we got to figure out who uses table reference map. It's not enough to look at table selections because it looks like most of these things are deriving from table selections. Okay, like this one, it's getting the tables from here. So it's never looking up a table that is not in the list already. Same for that. This one, rename. So how is that? Rename table ID. Who's calling this? Okay, I should look at these others first. Tests, and scoped column selector. Okay. Who calls rename? That's a test. Database selection, one table view. Oh, so it's already changed the rename table name, and so we know we need to do the rename. But they've actually already kind of done it, but we're recording it by remapping the ID. Well, does that really do it? Yeah, I'm not seeing a problem with it. So in a way, I can change it without breaking anything. But let's make sure. Let's see. Do we have a delete table test? Okay. Knows working schema. Okay, delete table. We create a selection. We put in a table, 2 tables. We had them in. We delete the first one. We make sure that table selections count is 1. We make sure the second table is now the first. And I think we probably want to assert true selection dot table selections. No. Table reference map sub table, whoops, sub table 1.id. I think it should be nil, or we got to figure out what it should be. Database selection. Well, I guess, yeah, we're asking the dictionary directly. Do you have this ID? And he should not. So this test should fail now. And I think that's what we're saying is you should really clean it out all the way. Yeah, based on the UUID. So it would just leave one in. But if we ever asked for the list of tables and it had the old one in there, oh yeah, there might be. Well, no, it's kind of. I think this is okay. But let me look more. Not there. That's more of a search. Yeah, I think we're doing the right query there. All right, and it doesn't equal nil because we don't remove it on delete. Okay. Reference, no. Why can't I remember these things? Table reference map. Is that coming in as? Table ID. And I don't think there's a specific remove entry. There was a delete. Remove value for key. Okay, we'll use that. Okay. Good. All right. Make table database selection dot delete table. Also delete from the table reference map. And again, I don't think the way we implemented anything would break because of it, but I want the relationship to be maintained correctly, even, just so if we change the way we did something, we wouldn't break this per se. Okay, make table selection and query similar more common. Yeah, I guess the thing is you're never deleting columns, so we don't have to worry about that. So I think all we've done is the, make sure database selection updates the table reference map. Is that what I call it? Yeah. Table reference map when it deletes a table. Okay. That's true. Should database selection retain metadata? Table selection. I don't think it needs to. It's getting original table. Oops, do I have original table? Oh, only down there. Equals this. Right, those are the same. And actually, I think this would even be better. They end up the same, but I think we're kind of saying it's really starting the same as the table name. That feels better to me. And then I guess I should just call this original table. And let it be private set. Or let. We're not going to change it. This can go away. All right, now metadata goes away. And this goes away. Oh, but he comes in for the columns. Okay. Okay. We set that up originally and we don't look back. All right, let's make sure this should run. Oops, what comment? Selection. Oh, huh. How much do I want to? I think we still have the information you need. But I would, table selection, original table selection. I guess I'm wondering if you could just pass in metadata for both. Should you just pass in the table and the columns? Let's see what type this is. Array of strings. And we don't really maintain them directly anymore either. We map them. Which is okay. We can get those keys back. So I think I want to say, well, how many constructors before I go changing the world? A gazillion. Okay, let's do it in 2 steps. Hey, welcome back, Dukes. Yeah, it was table and columns before. I don't know. Yeah, all that gets used for in here is to pull out the column table name and columns and kind of give us the representation of it from the query selection point of view. So everything can be renamed, the table can be renamed, the column can be renamed, and table metadata doesn't work like that. It's really kind of the fixed information coming from the database about what's this table look like. So where's that place again? So this is the duplication. Well, maybe it should just have a duplicate method. Yeah, it's like where do you want to break the dependency? So right now, table selection itself has no dependency on metadata other than I'm going to pull out those 2 fields and save them my own way. Except that it had the metadata around so you could duplicate it. I mean, we could give table selection a clone method that took care of it, and I kind of think that would be better. But what I would be asking for is the original. Where's the original call? Yeah, here. Maybe it's better off as it is, keeping that metadata. Yeah, let me back this out and try again. Okay, so now I have renamed table. I go back there. I don't know, maybe that's not so bad. But I do think we can clone as sort of a pseudo constructor. Well, no, the real way is to say init given table selection, produce a new one, and original, and then return table selection of original dot metadata. Okay. Result of table selection initializer is unused. My Java was coming out. Okay. All right. And so database selection, he's going to do original table selection dot, or no, he's going to do table selection of original table selection. don't think anybody else does that. But we'll repeat that look search. Okay, so who calls this? Table selection. Well, that's a test. Okay, making metadata. Database selection. That's the one we just changed. Bridge. No, it's not relevant. Test. Test support. Oh, the two. Okay, and tests. All right, yeah, so that's the only place that uses that clone. Okay, and that passes. So let's save that. Give table selection a cloning initializer. Okay. I don't even know if that is worth mentioning as a refactoring, but all right. Now selections to open. Okay. So let's run this. See what we're talking about. Oh, my push didn't push. Okay. Well, we created a query. Let's open a query. Here, I have to remember what did I type? I think it was 0122.query, but there's not that many files out there. Okay, good. Yeah, that was the registration one. Only table selection uses metadata. That's a good question. Is that true? I don't know that it. I don't know. Database selection bridge uses it, I think. But he's just using it. Well, he was definitely doing it the hard way. Yeah, this is a little weird. Okay, let's get to metadata and see. Test SQL database uses it. Table selection. It may not be a lot. Well, this defines it. Okay, and it can, yeah, it provides it. So, what is this? All tables query. You ask a database for its metadata, and it gives you all this back. Okay, and we do that somewhere, probably in the bridge. Yeah. So database selection uses it kind of in the aggregate, and then each individual table selection has the metadata. I guess I'm wondering if, well, I guess I wonder if the construction could take it. I mean, this can go through that stuff as well as, I mean, it's running through the loop of it. Right, all this stuff is happening on the selection database. It's just running database. You give me a SQL database. Yeah, it sure seems like this thing could create it based on the database and do that stuff. I don't think it's a wrong. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's wrong that this knows that. It's sort of it's kind of the bottom layer in terms of the SQL stuff. Like this is the thing that knows how to, well, we're using, what are we using? Is it MySQL, right? So this is the query you use with MySQL. Well, if we changed to databases, we would have to build a separate, this really is not SQL database. It's really, MySQL or whatever. Because you use a different query for different databases, the standard doesn't define how to get the metadata. So at any rate, this is a very low level understanding of what to do. Right. And then this structure is sort of the representation of one table. Excuse me. Yeah, bridge contains metadata. Well, the database selection is that keeps the information for all the tables because each individual table has it. But I don't know. There's no database database metadata, which there could be, but there's not. Yeah, maybe this is okay. With the bridge, I lost it again. I didn't move it to a different space. All right. Yeah, so this, I guess we do create it with nothing sometimes because you can have one that has no corresponding database that's empty. But who does that? Let's find out. And that gets passed. Database configuration. Is this old? Oh, it's our file writing stuff. I guess we do use it somewhere. Database configuration. Okay, there's the save. Right. There's the open. So he creates a database selection. Yeah, well, whatever he is how he got. I mean, whatever was set before is what comes back from the open. And the save, that's the file we're saving to, but it knows what it has. Where's the bridge in this? Oh, that's database configuration. Sorry. Database selection. Wait, that should have. We have the bridge. Creates one. Why is he not showing up in. Oh, did I search the wrong thing? Yes. Okay, database configuration creates one, but he only creates it from an existing one. So database configuration, that's tests. That's test support. Database selection is, yeah, I guess it's talking about self. That creates the initial one with no database. So that's kind of okay, but this one exists. And this is sort of the default. Okay. I think database selection, I think it should take the database name and whatever else the bridge gave it and the table selections. Need to create, yeah, the way we do it now. Yeah, I think it sort of is. We start with one, and I don't mind if you say it starts empty and there's nothing there. I think that's, I mean, I wouldn't have qualms about that. The table selections, I think, again, I think this stuff could all be passed with the database. If you knew the database, we could get its name, we could walk through and create the table selections that it needs to hold. I think that seems right. Okay, so let's pass this to that. And he has no init right now. Okay, so he needs the database name of string, and he needs the database of SQL database. Okay. Now, is that gonna work? Oh no. Yeah. I think it is that database configuration, right? Let's check that thing out. So when he does an open, config is returns a database selection. Read it from the JSON. Yeah, I think we have to have that empty constructor for that. Okay. It's all right. Let's see this. I'm gonna take that back out. The bridge. And it's telling it, I don't know. Yeah, that's an idea. It's kind of weird to have it here. My friend was just complaining about these today too. Okay, so extension database selection. Well, we're doing this all so that, I don't know, it's all kind of like we're trying to make it so database bridge, like it would be nice if it just passed this stuff in. I guess that's okay. Yeah, let's take this much anyway. Okay, init. Well, it makes it initialized, so we don't need that. Can I do self.append? Oops. Database table metadata. Self.append. Okay. All right, that should build. Yes, yes. And then we should be able to use it. Database selection of do I need that? And then these steps go away. All right. Let's make sure tests are good. Yeah, I think you're right. The bridge is much better off the more it delegates. And that even this, right? I think, did we add has errors? No. I don't know if I want to fight that one. Yeah, let's do it. Has errors. Oh, Boolean. Not message is empty. Okay, so we sort of extracted a moved method there. All right, so we gave database selection a new constructor that takes a database, retained the original empty constructor. So the read still works. Okay. Commit and push. Why did you not push? Okay. we gave it a constructor that takes a database. All right. Now, select configurations. Okay, so let's get back to database view. We want the query. Oh, this is not the right place. Oh, let's open table controller. Configure database view. Here's open file. Open database. Open database configuration. Open database controller. I'm not getting to the right place. Okay, I'm getting to spreadsheet stuff. That's not it. Move bar. Open database. Open file. That's flat file. Oh, okay. Open database. Configure database. Is that what we say? That's not it. Open query. Open database. Okay, Open Database calls Open Database configuration, which does a segue to Open Database. Okay, guess we're gonna have to look in the old style stuff. But sorry, let me take an early break here. Let's come back in 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll figure out if it's in the storyboard or where that is. All right, see you in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. Okay, let's see. I don't think it's this storyboard. Main storyboard. So we're looking for this string. Open database. Oh, it's totally done. Old school. Let's see. So yeah, we have UI kit stuff going on here. Let's zoom in a little. Well, we don't need anything too fancy. I mean, I guess if we do it like the database, we're just going to select a file. Maybe this should be like open saved query. And I don't think this is being done with localization. Okay, centered anyway, kind of. Yeah, I guess that's centered. So we need, oh man, I'm trying to remember my, I guess if all we have is a dialog box, we just need the component for that. Is that like Option L, Command L? I don't know how to get that library in. Yeah, I think you're right. We should probably put on the query and then take it off. I don't know if it needs to be, well, we're not taking the file name. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're going to type whatever they type. Am I going to put .query on and then peel that off the names in here? I don't know. It'd be more natural. I mean, iOS, you don't really worry about file extensions. All right, but where is that library kept? Is that a view window? I don't remember how to get the components list. Yeah, filter out the databases. I think that makes sense. That's it. Wow. I don't think these. Yeah, that just gives us extra that. Accessibility. Where is that stuff? Is there? Show library. Okay, I didn't shift it. Okay, so I guess a picker view. I really just want the drop-down list. I don't know, picker view may give me that if I set it right. That's a menu. Yeah, I guess that's all I want. Move that out of the way down here, I guess. Then I have to make all the constraints do their constraining. Okay. We'll leave that there for a while. Picker is, let's call it file picker. Okay. Wow. Let's see. UI kit, use a picker. Yeah, I don't think there's a standard suffix for the databases either, maybe. I think I just used DB. I don't think that's a real standard. You provide a data source. Oh, did I see a hack angle Swift example? Okay, so you got the picker. Raising mass into constraints. I don't know what that does. I guess constraints we don't have to worry about. Source and delegate. Okay, so add these to your delegate, to your controller. You should move this code elsewhere in your own projects. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much. Now, open database controller. Yeah, that's all we want. Okay. Well, it's going to tell me I don't have the number. I don't have the... Okay. picker view component into it. Number of rows 3 gives me an int. What's that int? Number of components describes how many individual segments there are. Well, I just want one. Yeah, that's true. We had a restriction there. Picker view. If component is 0. Well, let's take his example and then see how far it gets us. Component. Rows and sections. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, my frames are going to be messed up because I don't have the constraints set between everything yet. But that's not going to be the determining problem for a few minutes yet. All right, so open query. Well, I don't have anything in there that I can tell. View. Component equals 0, first, second. I don't know. Auto resizing mask into constraints, view.add. I think that's all done by the interface builder that I did. Decide what data source. How many segments, number of rows and components. How many rows each segment has. Title for a row provides the title for each segment. I don't think that's doing what I want. So I probably need to, oh golly. Stuff I've been suppressing since Swift came out. Okay, this can go down a little. This can go down because we don't really want it. Okay, now why? No. Oh, this stuff. Add new constraints. Yeah, let's do that. Spacing to nearest neighbor, constraints to margins, width, aspect ratio. Well, let's put width and height. I don't think I need these if I do that. Okay, so I'll constrain it above and below and to the sides. Views without any frame for file name. That's the field, yeah. Views without any layout constraints. But they have them now. And I don't think that's really, I mean, we didn't see any signs of first and second in there. Okay, that's better. Database configuration to open. Error. But I don't know, did it, components. Let's just check each one. Okay, so if I click open, there's the error message, database configuration to open. How did that text get there? That seems to, oh, this is our file name box. Well, maybe I take that out and just see what the consequences are. Somebody should complain on the build side. Components are columns. Yeah, I would think number of rows would be the number of files. Now somebody should miss that file name. Number of components should return 1, yes. Number of rows in components and number found. Well, this should always be, let's just make this 7. Is it? All right, I guess that's, how is that working? The text field, I guess I have the text field outlet with nothing attached. So who uses this? Well, view did load. I think this is where I need to be putting, well, let's do that. Print load the file names. Okay, am I not running? Somebody should absolutely crash or something when I do that, right? I mean, there's no file name there. Huh? That doesn't do anything though. Title for a row. Is row. For component. Well, component has to be the split view thing, right? So that should be always be 0. Number of components 1, so it should always be 0. So I really want to know if it breaks there, but why is it not filling this with a bunch of rows? UI picker view data source. Well, I'm trying to hard code it, but yeah, we would need to load those files. I mean, load the directory, see what the file names are, filter out the ones we don't want, and return them. But I would have thought this is asking. I guess this is saying for this picker view, how many rows do you have in component 0? Okay. And let's print number of rows in component. Now I would have thought we would get a bunch that say first row. Okay, load the file names. Why is this not? Well, there's no array. I'm just returning a hard-coded string. Component should be 0. Let's make sure of that too while we're but like we're not triggering any of these. Component int. Okay. Right, like it's saying it retrieved them. Oh, I don't have a picker view. Or do I? Oh, I gotta hook something to something, don't I? View for row for component. I think that's this. Where? Now this, I gotta connect it somewhere. So where's this connected? Main storyboard error message. Okay. Do the split thing. Open database controller scene. Okay, so I should link this to file. Picker. Okay. View for row for component. Load the file names. Why are you not? Okay, let me look at this one a little better. Okay, we got the picker. Put it where you want it. Data source delegate. Use your existing controller. Implement 3 methods. Number of components. Number of rows in component. And title for row. Is there a next page? Not really. Yeah, it definitely is. It's the part I don't mention at all about, UI kit. Okay, we got a class UI picker view. Right. Number of components to display. Number of rows in component. I don't know why it's never calling my thing, though. That just seems funny. Row height for component. Optional. Title for row. I don't need attributed. Or attributed, I don't know. View for row component. Reusing view. We don't need that. Oh, well, that would be a good one to implement. Did select row. Picker view, title for row for component. I think that's what we used, right? Picker view, title for row component. I think this just shows them. It doesn't, whoops. It doesn't read them. Okay. Now, I load the file names. Do I have to activate this somehow? Well, let's stop here. Okay, let's print file picker. Yeah, why doesn't it work? That's a good question. Well, there's a thing with a bunch of stuff in it, which seems, like a picker view. Okay, it's not 0. So it's got one in. All right. Is there anything? I don't know, I can search for that. A comprehensive guide, okay. Set up the storyboard, add the picker view, resolve layout issue button. Okay, that's a good thing. Ensure view controller Swift is in view. Well, we got the old school. View to low. Oh, yeah, I forgot you got to do this stuff. Oh, jeez. And this is file picker. Okay. Open query. Okay, now we're getting there. All right. Continue. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's a good sign. Very good sign. Okay. 0 through 6. Yep. Okay. And we're printing them. And there we go. Did select row 6, component 0. Okay. Gosh. Yeah, I mean, all this stuff used to be natural and in my head, and it's just gone. But, all right. We're cooking with gas anyway now. Okay. Let me delete these breakpoints. Okay, so we don't need the prints either, but hook up the picker. So it calls these methods. There's one component. All right. So I think this thing, I'm not quite sure where we should be keeping the data for it, but I'm hoping it's in here. Got the table controller. All right. Okay. Now, that doesn't look quite. Okay, let's get these prints going. Okay, they did select. I think it's okay for now. Okay. Well, we need to add. I guess we can take this one out because I took out the field, so let's not leave that. Open database configures text field.text. Table.open database. Well, okay. Temp name. And I guess that's fine because there will never be an empty selection now. Right, it's not what we want, but it's moving along. Okay, so let's see. I guess the database, I guess we want the code that loads those databases. Database Finder. Oh, SQLite 3 is our database, not MySQL. All right. Well, database path. Right. Yeah, function. I mean, I think this is it kind of if we took this out. I'm just debating, do I need a like I feel like I should be able to get the same see if there's a matching any. I don't know what contents gives us. Contents directories array of string. Okay, so there's got to be an excluding, right? Filter. Matching any. What is that? Oh, that's ours. Okay. All right. Do we have a test for this? I'm going to rename this to array matching. No, wait a minute. Array matching tests, and then where's array? Where do you live? Ah, okay. Let me rename this. Okay, so these are the matching any's. I'd like a matching none. Well, actually, let's just not filter. If we could load the right file names, that'd be a step forward. So let's get that in before anything else. Let me do a run test. But I was going to add a matching none to reject any suffixes that show up. All right, so I think the action is here, and at least for the moment, we can shut this storyboard. Okay, so if I just use Database Finder for a moment here, that code was in. Okay. All right, so let's do var file names is array of string. Component is always going to be 0, so let's not even bother with that. And then contents are file names of row. There's no initializers. I guess we do this way. All right, open query. Should we get the list of databases? All right, that's promising. Okay, and we selected one. Okay. And I think the last selected is, I think it's nil. I don't think it's going to matter. All right, so this is the only one that counts. So let's say last selected equals, well, I guess I kind of want this. Picker view is picker view. Row. Is that the way it works? Oh no, it is title for row. Okay. Last selected. Well, that tells me that's in the wrong place. Yeah. Okay. Cannot call value of non-function type UI picker view. I don't know how I call this function locally then. Well, let's just do it. Okay, so I suppose just to keep myself sane here, selected equals I keep hitting the wrong one. Okay, so I do this. If I scroll down, selected 2, but no, I want joins.sqlite3. Okay, and then open, file not found, temp name. Well, we put temp name somewhere. Okay, there it is. Oh, so we have the open here. Oh, good. All right, so he gets, I guess he just gets that last selected. Let's call this, selected file name. Selected file, probably okay. Okay. And I guess that's why this is here. So I'm making it harder. So we'll just start out empty because that'll sort of shouldn't happen, but I guess if you haven't selected anything, you might trigger that. Selected. Did I not rename it? Okay. Now OpenQuery will attempt to open this and presumably fail. Yeah, can't read. Okay, That's a good sign. All right. Yeah, try catching it. Oh yeah, let's try it again. Open query. Oh, it does start selected. Oh, well, that's a little weird. Let's see if we can give that an initial index. No, it doesn't really do that. Can I do select? Oh, well, that sort of implies I don't really need this selected row of the component. Okay, so let's try that. I gotta do file names, sub, selected row. Define on picker view may not be, yeah. I guess if file names.count is not 0, then I can select the first one by default. Okay. And I do need this, I guess. Okay, yeah, let's get some files. And then I'll tackle these constraints again. Ah. Okay, so if I just say open, yeah, that's fair enough. It's not going to read a SQLite thing. Okay, but it did try and open it, and it didn't say empty string, so we know it did that. I don't know. I hate. Well, all right. So, database finder. I'm going to change it to file finder, I think. Let's try that. Okay, and then let's rename this to all databases. And then what was it? It was database finder. Open database finder tests. Oh, I guess a file type thing, so it didn't have its own test. Right. Let's do non-databases. I guess if I take this out first. Okay, so this should show everything. Yep. Okay. And then we're going to add tests quickly here for matching none. This has matching any. Okay. Matching none on empty list gives empty list. Okay. Nobody knows matching none. Okay. Okay. This test should fail. Okay. And yep. Check that message. All right. I think we'll empty list when nothing has the suffix. Okay. All right, let's give this foo.db. Result not matching none should be empty because it does have one. I think that passes wrongly, so kind of expected, but I'll leave it for documentation. And we'll need it on others. Matching none on list with no suffix gives list. Okay. Food. No, that's with no matching suffix. No, we want list with matching suffix gives list. Okay. Foo.bar. Grove.tree. Should be the same as the input. What matters? Well, let's just do a mixed list at this point. Matching list gives only non-suffix matches. Okay, and if we put in test.db, all right, we don't expect to get it back. Yeah. And what else we got? An empty list. Okay, because he doesn't do any filtering. All right, now he's going to be close to this. Self-filter suffix contains extension in candidate does not have suffix. Okay, so we run through the suffixes. Oh, wait. Okay, we want the suffix contain. I have to think too much. All right. So if the suffix contains that, we keep the candidate. Okay. So we don't want the suffix to contain any of these. Okay, so if candidate has the suffix contains is true. I guess run and then think. Okay, so if any suffix contains it, should make it go away. Okay. So file finder then, non-databases should be matching none. All right, what else? Views, these messages on views. Okay, that should be fine. Oops, let's run it. Open query, we get a list. Memory, oh, those look good. No databases or SQLite 3s in there. Okay. Let's take that. Good. Okay. Let me close these. Let's open up that interface builder file. Okay. Open database scene. There's something about these labels that makes it unhappy. What's this do? I don't know if that resolves the issues or not. No. Okay. To there, to there. Well, I don't know. Those look like they're the layouts we want. Why are we getting complaints? I will say we often got complaints about other things. Like I don't see what it's highlighting. This is linked to that. It's linked to that. It's linked to the sides. I mean, it looks perfectly constrained to me. This thing is linked. It should be straightforward. He's linked. Well, he could be linked. Open dot button centered. Yes. Picker, file picker bottom. Yeah. Okay. That seems right. Okay. What? Views without any layout constraints. Okay. Open button. I see constraints. File picker. I see constraints. Open button still has constraints. Yeah, I thought you used to be able to click this to get it to, oh. All views reset to selected constraints. It's like it doesn't believe its own self. This is kind of like our joins, you know. But we've gone through and taken every suggestion, and like I don't know what that open button center X equals file picker center X. Like, okay. All right, so error message leading is safe area plus 40. Okay, top is title button plus 30. Error message. I mean, let's select error message. What are his constraints? I don't know if he's got that. I mean, if I turn on these, I don't think that did anything. Trailing equals trailing margin, leading margin, yes. File picker center max equals error message center x. I think it's actually okay. I have gotten complaints, like sometimes it'll complain and sometimes it won't. So I think this may be an area that's getting a little flaky, but we'll take what we have here that seems like I've told it to accept every constraint. And push. Huh. Is that why it doesn't push? Because all right, let's run this one more time. I think I clicked on all of them, I believe. Open query. And this is from today, so hopefully it's reasonable. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have that one. It's a pity it's not quite consistent, but yeah, maybe clearing all the constraints. I may play with it a little more, but I don't think it's worth our time together. It looks okay. Yeah, no, I know that's not a full guarantee, but it does seem to be okay in the view. And when we look at the constraints, they all look like they would add up to the right thing. So I don't know, if there were an area that could use more help, them telling me more detailed, like what's the problem? Oh, these are all centered and this one is not, or something like that would be helpful. But okay, well, I think we're going to be done with this project for now, though. The big thing I wanted was to get this query screen, working so that I could select that same table twice and make the instructor table and then do the whole linkage across all of them. All that stuff is together now. We've got the constraints now, so there's not as much chance of, forgetting to link things and sitting there while you wait for 20 million rows to load. So I think that's cool. What I have, I don't know, I've been looking, let's see if I can get it out. I've been looking at this threaded interpreted languages books from probably the 70s or 80s. I don't know. But it's, I don't know if you've ever run across Forth, but Forth is this kind of stack-based language, and lots of times it's implemented with what they call a threaded approach, and they have primitive code that's coded in assembly, and then threaded code that's kind of linking a list of the words to call through or something. Row 13. Oops, you're right. Thank you. Anyway, I do want to start that, but I don't think I'm ready to start tomorrow. And I think what I'm going to do the rest of this week, I've got stuff I need to update. It's nothing I would record. You're going to be there for the company more than anything, I think, if you show up. But you could easily say I'm going to take a couple days off and then Monday, either that or, well, I don't have a thing for it. But the other thing I have that's a very short project is this study box kind of thing that's, kind of a flashcard type thing. And I think it's just got some neat little arithmetic because you're doing stuff that's in powers of 2 and it all kind of just works out in interesting ways. But I don't think that's worth, it's not a deep, intensive study. But I think I want to spend a couple more days studying on the ARM assembly language and make sure I understand the approach in the book. Okay, yeah, it's 4 so old. But it was kind of cool. And PostScript is very similar inside. If you've ever dealt with PostScript, it's very stack-based in the same way. But anyway, I think we'll do that next week is start the assembly stuff, and I won't make it a forever project. I mean, this is session 13 this year, and I don't know how many we did in 2023. About the same, I think. 17, 18, 19, 20. So we've spent, a number of weeks on this, and it's partly, it's been a while since I did assembly, so I want to get back to doing a little of that just for my own edification. I want to try the TDD style in assembly, and I don't know, I might use a couple C routines, just like the IO or something, but I want to really do the rest of it and then get that sense of building the new interpreter on top of the primitives, and maybe a small app that we can use to demonstrate, to give us some direction. So basically it's building a programming environment and programming language with implementation and using it to create something like, I don't know, a calculator or maybe some sort of little puzzle solver or something. So I don't know. It's got several levels to it. I think it'll be a little different. And I'm afraid I'm going to spend a lot of time looking up assembly stuff that it's like, oh man, how do you do this? But I think once we get the core of it in, we'll be working in this new language we kind of half invent and half steal from Forth, and go from there. So anyway, I will be back tomorrow at the usual time, 2 to 4:30 Eastern or 7 to 9:30 UTC. What I'll be doing tomorrow is updates on the refactoring workbook. My book, Refactoring Workbook, has lots of exercises that run in Java, and I know I haven't upgraded it in a while, so I want to upgrade Java one step, make sure it all still works, put out a link for that, upgrade to the next version of Java until I get current, which is what, 22 or something? Can't remember. And do that. And then I have some another book on design patterns that really is from Steve Metzger, who passed a while back, but that one also needs some updates. I'm not sure if I can do the Windows stuff from here to make that interesting, but we'll do the one on Thursday or on Wednesday, and it may or may not go into Thursday, and I may just schedule Thursday off. I don't quite know. Maybe I'll try and do the study box in one day or something, or something like that, just to kind of fool with it. But we'll see. But next week will be a real project. Next couple of days, not so much. All right. Well, thanks so much, Mudshark and Tooks especially, but Mudshark in particular. How much help you've given me over the last few months, really. That's been great from my perspective. Really appreciate it. And see you tomorrow, Thursday, or possibly next week, or some other time in the future. So take care. Bye-bye.